Welcome back to another episode of the Strategic Bookkeeper podcast. In this episode, I'd like to give you 3 more productivity hacks to combine with what I gave you in the last episode. So if you didn't listen to the last episode, which was on Kanban boards for productivity, I recommend that you listen to that one now and just combine that with what I show you or teach you or tell you in this episode. Okay, so this is designed to support you to be a highly productive human, like I am pleased to say that I am, in order to be successful in your bookkeeping practice. Because as I said in the last episode, I see bookkeepers in the early stages, but also once they have achieved success, sometimes end up busy with a whole lot of stuff. When you get there, it's really hard to find that reverse pedal. So what I want to do is help you to say no to a lot more stuff, but also to understand how to be more proactive, use your brain in a scientific way to get more of the stuff you need to get done, okay, in order to build a practice that gives you the income, but also allows you to be smart enough to design a business and a life where you've got lots of time to do the things that you want to do. These days in 2026, as I record this, I'm often busy with a lot of really lovely stuff that I want to do. Okay. And that's what I want for you as well. It doesn't mean I don't sometimes go down rabbit holes and get totally busy with all the things. I did that in 2025. However, in 2026, I'm really coming back to those productivity fundamentals, which is what I'm sharing with you now. I'll see you inside the episode. Okay, so let's dive in. I've got no notes to refer to, so I'm just going to use my brain, which honestly, it is the afternoon now. One of the things I'm going to show you is how our brain works at different times of the day, productivity-wise. So I share 5 key elements to productivity in the book that I published called The Bookkeeping Practice Blueprint. It's available everywhere. You can go to my website. You can go to any online bookstore globally. I mean, I think 100% of them sell it. You can get it on Audible. You can get it on Kindle. You can get it on Spotify Premium, whatever you like, okay? So in there, 3 of those 5 things. One of them is the science of when. The second one is to be a proactive, focused, or I call it not distracted, single tasker. And the third one is to work with the law of polarity. And quite simply, that says every time I say yes to one thing, I say no to another. So let's start with when, then go to proactive, and then the yes to one thing, no to another, because my afternoon brain needs to stay on top of this. Okay, so that relates to this first one, the science of when. So Daniel Pink did a research project and he came up with this when science. I like to call it the science of when. The book, if you'd like to grab it, is called When, okay? But in a nutshell, this project looked at all human brains and how they function at different times of the day. So some of us, actually 20% of humans, tend to wake really early. I mean, girlfriend of mine wakes at 4 a.m., sometimes even early. She actually doesn't like waking up that early, but it's just in her DNA, right? Then 60% of us, myself included, I feel fortunate, we wake up in those kind of normal hours. It is normal for me to wake up between about 5 a.m. and 7 a.m. depending on what's happening for me, okay? So basically 80% of the population are morning people given a normal scenario. This is outside of when you're sick or anything like that, okay? For example, because I'm home at the moment, many of you know I live and work while traveling around Australia. I'm home, I'm taking advantage of the gym and dancing, so my body is more stressed out, so I'm sleeping a bit longer. So today I didn't wake up until 7 a.m. Yay! Got a bit of a sleep in for recovery. So you can throw yourself out of your rhythm by doing things like staying up later than your body wants to, or if you're eating a whole lot of bad food that makes your body just not function right, or if you're overtraining, this can throw you out. Because sometimes people say to me, well, I don't know, I feel like I'm a night owl because I'm really tired in the morning. It can be your health as well, okay? So just coming back to the science of when, 80% of people are morning people. Only 20% of the population are night owls. So night owls actually naturally wake up later and naturally function best. They come alive. Their brain comes alive in the evening. Okay, that actually makes up 99% of us all together is those categories. So it's the lark, the bird, and the night owl. Apparently 1% are unicorns that don't need much sleep at all. Let's just focus on those three categories. Now, since learning these three categories, they have turbocharged how I show up as a highly productive human. As always, we're looking at what, how, and why, so you can get this actionable strategy into your business and your life. Okay, so first of all, something that I found incredible is that this research has become why all elective surgeries are done in the morning, because after about midday, nurses and doctors make more mistakes. They wash their hands less, and it's the same for us. So a moment ago, I talked about my afternoon brain. Because I'm a lark, I'm a regular functioning brain. I'm in my zone of genius, in flow, in focus, first thing in the morning after a coffee, right? That's when I'm at my best. And so that is actually when I do my most high value work, the stuff that requires my brain the most. So what don't I do? That leads me to the second one. What I want you to be is a proactive, not distracted single tasker, rather than a reactive, distracted multitasker. So what I don't do first thing in the morning when my brain is in genius mode is I don't check my email. Okay, so email is something which is you're reacting to somebody's agenda, it distracts you, it makes you multitasking. And the research is that while that first part of the day for 80% of us is the time we just want to focus on that, don't get distracted, single focus, block out all the noise, go deep and dark, high value activity that you need to do, okay? And then when that part of our focus expires, which for most of us is by 11 a.m., then it is time to do more of, I call it the bullshit work. So it is kind of the messy stuff where you have to multitask. So it's like, oh, okay, I'll look at my email and I'll see what people want from me. I will call that person back. I'll answer the kids. I'll speak to my spouse. I'll do whatever it is. But you go into multitasking mode and you do lower value activity that doesn't require the brain that you had alive and on fire in the morning at that midday time. So actually in my bookkeeping practice with my staff, we have this thing where we say in the morning it's heads down and at midday it's heads up and check your email. Okay, so we do that as a team as well. So that's number one. I want you to work out, are you a lark, which is super early, a bird, which is regular early, or a night owl, which is functions best at night? Okay, so I want you to take maybe a week or so to really just watch your rhythm and see which you are. Because I thought maybe I was a night owl because I naturally used to do things at night because I did like to go Latin dancing, etc. But when I really looked at my natural rhythm, truth is I was a bird, and I've leaned into that. I actually avoid going to the later dancing events. I like to be in bed early. I like to be up early. I know when my brain functions best, and it has made everything in my business life better and easier, and actually in my personal life as well. So that's number one, do that. Number two, I want to talk about proactive versus reactive. I learned this in the last 6 years, and it exploded everything. And my clients, both in the bookkeeping world and the business world, tell me that this alone is quite transformational in the kind of results they can get. So let's think about a brain model. So thinking about our brain, we've got this part back here. It's like the reptile brain, right? It's this super fight or flight. Like I touched something hot earlier, I had out of the oven, and it's, oh, fight or flight, right? If the tiger comes running through the room, I'm going to jump up, this deeply reactive part. Then in the middle section, imagine there's this classic reactive brain, which actually serves us, and it does have a really good purpose, which is why it's hard to fight using all the time. Now, the reactive brain is where somebody puts their hand up, for example, and says, I need this. Now, your email is everybody raising their hand and saying, I need this. So when the phone rings, the email dings, the Facebook dings, the whatever else dings, somebody knocks on the door, the doorbell rings, etc., 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 you react naturally. Of course you do. Yeah, somebody needs you. Isn't it natural to react? That's what I call reactive brain and reactive mode. And in your personal life, there is absolutely a massive place for that. For example, your child, Mum, I'm hungry, and maybe I'll get up and I'll feed child, right? I'll feed and water child. It does serve us. Even biologically, it serves us, but it doesn't serve you at all in business. Not at all, not one little bit. You don't want to be reactive in business at all, even though we're going to be reactive a little bit, okay? So what we need to focus on building, which has also been called the empire building part of the brain, is proactive. So if email is somebody else's agenda and it's reactive, what's proactive? Okay. If I relate it to my own life, I went to my desk this morning and I turned on my computer and I stopped and I sat down and I took a breath and I thought about what I needed to get done. Okay, I'll give you another little tip here. I usually spend Monday on what I call messy multitasking Monday. My clients loved this the other day in coaching when we talked about it. So Monday, I give myself permission usually to have a messy multitasking day. And I do personal, I do business, I react to everything, I look at everything, and I'm not looking to be particularly proactive. But today I actually decided, do you know what? I'm going to make Monday a little bit more like Tuesday because I worked a tiny bit of Saturday. I feel like I cleared a whole lot of stuff. I don't need to look at my email or anything. I can jump straight into that proactive work. So I thought about the high value activities that I had on my plan that I wanted to get done. Okay. And I just sat at my desk. I went and looked at my Kanban board to look at what I had on. And I also stopped and I thought about, like I said, those important things. I didn't pull up my planning docs. I have a lot of different planning docs as well. But then I sat and I began really high value work, which is also what I call leadership work. Okay. For example, in my business, I'm looking to guest on a range of podcasts. So I wanted to sit and work with ChatGPT on what those podcasts are, where they are. Am I going to pitch myself? If I'm not, what does it look like to get a resource to pitch me onto those podcasts? Is that something that my general manager will do? If she does it, will she get someone else? So sitting and doing that high value leadership work. Okay. So I did the leadership work and then I can hand that off to the resource that I elect and they will take care of the rest. So that is an example of a high value proactive work versus what I see almost 100% of bookkeepers do. They sit down at their desk first thing in the morning and they open their email. Okay. So when you sit at your desk in the morning, do you open your email first thing? Because if you do, you're sending yourself into reactive, multitasking, distracted mode. The other thing is when my phone rings, I don't answer it. My Facebook Messenger doesn't ding because I don't have that on. I often turn my phone on flight mode or do not disturb. I literally don't answer the door, okay? I go deep. I have an agenda, my agenda, and I am going to stick to it until there is a time in the day like midday where I can say, okay, my brain is now in multitasking mode. I'm okay to go into reactive mode. I'm going to call that person back. I'm going to check my messages. I'm going to see who knocked on my door. I'm going to tend to my child who maybe knows mum can't be disturbed in those hours, okay? So I'm in charge of my agenda. I've got that time to be a proactive, not distracted or focused, single tasker. And then absolutely, I make time in my proactive agenda to give everyone who's putting their hand up my time if I want to. So that is the second one, okay? Take that, and what I want for you from that is to be proactive, not reactive, okay? Single tasking, not multitasking, and focus, not distracted. So think about how you can move the needle on that one. So the last one is the law of polarity. Every time you say yes to one thing, you say no to another, which is really closely linked to those first two, okay? And also to the last podcast I did. Every time you say yes to something, an opportunity, an idea, somebody raising their hand at you, the ding, the ring, the door knock, and so on and so on. Every time you say yes to something, you say no to something else. And here's the kicker. You don't know what you're saying no to. Okay, now this is literally science. This is actually alchemy. For example, when you say yes to going to sleep, you're saying no to being awake. When you say yes to getting wet, you're saying no to being dry. When it is day, it can't be night, and so on. This is actually the law of polarity, but it is incredibly powerful in your business and your personal life. I live and die by it. Thank you to Chris Williamson, who runs Modern Wisdom. I think it's the world's most popular podcast. So he says, in order to pick something up, you need to put something down. But with this law of polarity, unlike what Chris says, where I know that if I want to pick something up, I need to put something down. I need to clear something off my plate if I want to do a new activity, okay? Because there's no more room on my plate. Unlike that, with the law of polarity, when I say yes to something, I actually don't know what I'm saying no to, because I'm not leaving the space to even see that thing or do that thing. Okay, when I see bookkeepers really begin to listen and learn on these productivity tools, what I shared with you last episode and what I'm sharing with you now, when I see them just start to go through what I call the 3 A's to change: awareness, acceptance, action. So begin to have an awareness of what you're doing now. Begin to have an awareness of whether you're reactive. Begin to have an awareness of whether you check your email first thing in the morning. Begin to have an awareness of whether you tend to say yes to all the opportunities and ideas rather than put them on a list and let them sit. Okay, go through an awareness phase with all of this, and then look at whether you accept it. Because if you accept what I'm teaching you right now, that's the next step to the action, the 3 A's to change, okay? And when I see bookkeepers take incremental action, not go from 0 to hero in 5 minutes, it's not about that. When I see bookkeepers commit to small, meaningful changes, then over time, the transformation is huge. And what it creates is space to finish where we started, okay? What I don't want is for you to end up with a snowball of busy, whether you are successful or not there yet. I don't want you to end up with a snowball of busy and no time and no freedom and just ending up looking for the reverse pedal. I want to teach you how to be a highly productive human so that you can be smart and discerning about what you say yes to and how you prioritize. As always, if you have any comments or questions about this episode, you can drop them in some of the places you might be watching or listening to this episode, but you can also send me an email, hello@thestrategicbookkeeper.global. I'll see you in the next episode.